up and welcome, friends, witches, and tarot fans, to my channel, The Zen Witch. I am Luna, your host for today, and I'm here with an unboxing, and I'm kind of disoriented because my Yeti has finally, well, it's having a nap today, so I'm using a webcam microphone, and I feel like I have to do this, so I apologize for that. At any rate, it's time for tea. Let me move the deck so I don't get tea all over it, because now I have to do it up here. I don't know how well that picked up. At any rate, looky, I'm using my little Moony Unicorny tea set. Do you care? I'm making you suffer today. All right, today I am looking at a Kipper deck. This is by the Card Geek. And her name, I'm assuming it's pronounced Puhle, P-U-H-L-E, Toni Puhle, and Stephen Bright. And this is the Rainbow Kipper. And I have another deck sitting right here, which is Ciro Marchetti's Fin de Siècle Kipper, because some of the cards here have different names. So as you can see, I have had this deck out. I've taken a look at it. So it's not really an unboxing, more a review and a test drive. Oh, pause. We have snow on the ground again here in Northeast Ohio. So let's continue. At last, a modern Kipper deck that enables the beginner to get to grips with the essentials of divination in a clear and colorful way. Toni Puhle and Stephen Bright have paved the way, bringing an old European tradition to a new audience, and that is from Caitlin Matthews, author of the complete Lenormand Oracle Handbook. I have some decks. I do believe Caitlin Matthews, one of the Arthurian decks. Anyway, I'm going to look that up. There's Rainbow Kipper, an elegant, dynamic Kipper deck that divines, heals, and moves through color. Toni Puhle and Stephen Bright have teamed up to produce what will surely become one of the most beloved fortune-telling decks of the modern era, and that's Benabel Wen, author of Holistic Tarot. Tradition and contemporary art merge in this magnificent color-coded Kipper card set designed for fortune-telling with ease. Explore your day-to-day environment with the Rainbow Kipper and never be confused regarding what events will occur. Each of the 36 cards are described in the accompanying handbook, delving into people, movement, connectors, and cause and effect. $25. It's got a nice sturdy box. Now, if you don't know, Kipper is a Bohemian system from Germany. About the author, Toni Puhle was born in Sheffield, England in 1975. She studied and researched the traditional systems of Lenormand, Kipper, and Romani cards in England, France, and Germany. Toni is founder of the World Divination Association and is the author of the Card Geek's Guide to Kipper Cards. About the artist, Stephen Bright was born in London in 1972. He's the creator of Spirit Within Tarot, Schiffer Publishing 2017, and is also the author of Tarot, Your Personal Guide by Wellfleet Books 2018. Having always been a keen writer, Stephen has written for numerous periodicals and is the co-founder of Esoterical magazine. Interesting. Okay, so it sounds like he's the artist and the writer, but she's the author. He's the artist, even though he is an author as well. Here's the book. Look at the lovely setup here. I love the colors. They're very inviting. And ooh, looky there. Let's get you zoomed in. So just look, care was taken putting this set together, and how satisfying is that? Let's just take a moment and look at the book, and then I will zoom you in. This is published by Red Feather, which is an imprint of something else. What is it? Registered trademark of Schiffer. 2021, so just last year. This is a new deck. And we have the preface. All right, let's read through that. I'm starting to realize, the things that I kind of skip over when I'm showing you a deck, that the introduction to the deck by the author and or the artist is a really important thing, because it's going to frame their intention when they created the deck. All right. Rainbow Kipper has been created with the reader in mind. The Bavarian, so not Bohemian, Bavarian, sorry. The Bavarian Kipper reading method has transcended generations of readers in Germany and is a system that immerses the reader in a situational storyboard world, one that highlights the peaks and troughs of daily life in the 21st century. I've been researching and teaching Kipper cards in Bavaria for over a decade, and the system will never cease to amaze me with its succinct and direct messages. When teaching Kipper, it became clear that the directional nature of the cards was not easy for students to memorize. Readers with a tarot background expect the same level of visual cues in the Kipper deck. I noticed that students had marked their Kipper deck to clearly note the directional cues of each card. As a Lenormand, Romani card, and tarot reader myself, it seemed natural to analyze the difference in the systems and also consider what would make life easier for the beginner and advanced reader alike. I met Stephen Bright in 2018, and our love of systems became immediately apparent. We discussed the Kipper system at length and how a modern deck with a clear directional storyboard was needed to stop the reader from getting lost between the lines. Thus came forth the concept of a color-coded Kipper deck. Rainbow Kipper was born. It was in this first and only color-coded 36-card Kipper deck. The reader will understand the nature of the narrative at first glance. The directional cues are compliant with the 1890s Matthias Sedline Kipper deck, and the card types are color-coded to be easily identifiable when laid. A Grand Tableau 36-card spread highlights where clusters of color can be found and allows the reader to find storylines at first glance using the red stop cards as punctuation. Clusters of color emphasize troublesome or stale areas within seconds, and movement is clear to the naked eye. Even without complex reading techniques, the color coding makes it easy for readers to spot every area of importance. The two main characters are framed in their own stories. You do not need to digest their placement. Just watch their lives unfold with no dissection required. Stephen's art of creating simplicity within complex situational cards takes the reader on a journey, enabling them to tell both stories and fortunes. As the 19th century reader sat in the parlor, telling stories with predictive accuracy, you will learn to lay the Rainbow Kipper and understand the narrative therein. The silhouette of each person card, transcending age, gender, and ethnicity, will unearth plots of friendship, jealousy, and even betrayal. Every level of Kipper reader will find this deck a gateway to understanding the nuances of the Kipper system and will be predicting life events with ease. Within each of you lies a Kipper card reader waiting to explore, dig deep, and uncover hidden scenarios within the webs of time that you didn't know existed. Toni Puhle. Okay. Chapter 1, Color Coding the Kipper Cards into Card Types. And you can see, now, let me add a little bit more of an introduction. If you are already a subscriber, then you know that I am a newbie to the cartomantic systems like Lenormand and the Roma cards and the Kipper. I'm finding it fascinating. And, you know, it was hard for me in the beginning because I come from that standpoint of you cannot predict the future, it doesn't exist. But what we can do, sometimes incredibly accurately, is look in depth into what is unfolding now, what energies are underneath what's unfolding now, and then the cards represent here is a likely path. Knowing that it's fluid, you know, whenever somebody changes their mind, a key player in the drama changes their script and changes their role, changes their decisions, a different timeline can unfold. So we can only find out what is likely, which is why it's interesting to do periodic updates when something shifts, you know, and that might be a good rule of thumb altogether, tarot, oracle, anything else, that when you are reading on not just, you know, what do I need to know right now, but when you're reading on a specific situation and you're looking for what's coming as clearly as you can determine that, you need to ask once. And if you don't get a clear answer, you leave it alone for a little while. And if you do get a clear answer, you leave it alone for a while. Particularly if you get a clear answer and you keep asking, the cards are going to fuck with you mercilessly. They're going to play on your darkest fears. So be warned. At any rate, these cartomantic systems really are set up as fortune telling, which means what's going to happen. So the question usually asked is what's going to happen with, you know, or you can just say, tell me about thus and so, you know. So it can also give you an insight into what's happening, you know, with someone that's not you. But as with any time you want to spy and take a peek into something that is not actually your life or directly affecting you, you have to find a claim. You have to stake a claim if you want good, accurate readings. So, you know, you can read on behalf of people that have a claim or whatever, but I feel that you really need to have kind of a claim to it, or, you know, why are they going to let you look? Okay. Color permeates everything. There's a measurable vibrational frequency for every color grade. The colors chosen for this deck are both vibrant and muted depending on the nature of the card. The Rainbow Kipper color palette winds the reader with ease through complex situations and sinewy undertones. Many red cards in a spread will highlight a slow-moving situation, while the presence of a framed main character will define the fortuitous versus the challenging circumstance before us. The color of your spread will determine whether you are moving full speed ahead or resting on your laurels. So we've got framed main characters. So let's go to the deck now and just look at this lovely silver. But then we have another deck too that also has lovely silver on the side. Isn't that interesting? Let me get you framed. All right. I think that ought to do. And I'm going to do what I saw somebody else, can't remember who the reader was, but he wasn't flipping the cards over as I do. He would just set them to the side, and that gives you like a little bit longer to look at them if you want. So that's what I'm going to do, as long as I remember to. I'm drinking time tea today, if you care. I'm sorry, of course you care. You wouldn't be watching. But it's because I have a combination. We've got snow of, you know, dry air from heat and spring allergies that have gotten kicked off in the last couple of weeks. So time tea makes everything feel better. All right. So we have the main reason I have got Ciro Marchetti's here is because he does not change the names of the cards the way this deck does. So if you are familiar with Kipper and she's got a wacky different name, I'll make it a little bit easier. Okay, here's a main character, and there's a main male. And then we have main female. And you notice how they face each other. I think that, and I'm saying this because we have two, probably should have been like this. We have two main male characters facing different ways. They definitely each have a specific cultural vibe to them, racial vibe. Let's be plain, one looks black, the other looks white. And if you notice, both cards that look white are facing the same direction, as are both cards that look African American. Not African American. Oh my God, I'm struggling today. My poor brain has been so programmed. So if you want, and I've read that you want to pick a main male and female card that are facing each other. And I love that when you do that, you get one that appears to be African and one that appears to be European. So anyway, sorry for my fumbling through that. All right, so, whoopsie. Okay, here is marriage. So we notice that the first cards, the frame characters, all have this beige color. So they stand out from the entire rest of the deck. We've got them. We have this pink color. We have very red. We have a grassy looking green, and then we have this yellowy, springy green. Then we've got blue, dark blue. Okay. So there's marriage. Then courtship in this rainbow kipper is called convene. So they've taken the titles of the cards in the traditional kipper and really just broaden what we're talking about here. So here it says courtship, and with the fin de siècle deck, of course, that means end of century. So we're looking at, the end of the 1800s, beginning of the 1900s in context here. So we've got a man and a woman sitting having a traditional courtship. Here we have two men sitting on a bench. So it's not about marriage proposal, it's just about getting together with someone, convening with someone. So I like that clarification right off the bat, because with this you see courtship and it's like, oh, what does that mean? Somebody proposes something, somebody makes an offer. No, it's broader than that. It means you get together. Then mature man, here we have good gent. Then good lady is mature woman. Those are both green. We've got letter. Now, yes, marriage and convene both have the same color. Letter, this is message. In the classical one, they call it letter. This represents any type of communication. In Lenormand, you have both a letter and birds, and the birds signify verbal communication, even things like radio, television, things that you hear. And letter represents written communication. There's also a book in Lenormand, which is hidden communication, secrets, things that you need to dig for, to find, to read about, stuff like that. But in Kipper, there's only letter, and it covers all communication. All right. Now we have traditional is false person. Here we have dishonesty. So, dishonesty has to come from someone. We don't need to specify that it's a person. This card, false person, focuses on the fact that it's who's the person. This one takes me more in the direction of something's not above board, and it really broadens it. And I haven't really looked at them side by side like this before, and it's broadening my mind, and I like it. Okay, change. Change is change. This is one of the very directional cards. So you see here in Marchetti's, the car is going this way. In this deck, it's going this way. And she did say in the introduction that she has done her best to preserve the directionality of the traditional deck. Okay. The directional cards are compliant with the 1890s Kipper deck. All right. So I like that too. I don't really like when systems veer from the traditional and don't have a reason why. And I do believe in Marchetti's deck, I don't think they go into that kind of depth of, which way, as far as just, how the deck works. At any rate, there's change. Then we have journey. And in this, the bus is going this way, the train's going this way. So traditionally, you notice that both of these cards are blue, and they're each heading in a different direction. This would certainly indicate that way, possibly up. This one would indicate to the left, possibly down. Okay. Titles are the same there. Then we have sudden wealth here and win lots here. Both have a slot machine. All right. They do both have kind of a different vibe, but I'm not keying in on anything really specific here. We have privileged lady here and rich girl here. So this is much more modern language. And the fact that she is rooted in the original Kipper and updating it, I feel confident in her. You know, I don't think she's going to veer us off the intended path. So then we have wealthy man and rich gent. Note that these are both green. And now we have this yellow. It's a very greeny yellow. It looks much more yellowish on camera than it does on my desktop here. All right. Sad news is message of concern. So the traditional is called message of concern, and the update is sad news. Very succinct, short and sweet. I like it. They're thick cards, so I keep thinking I'm picking up more than one. And here we have lovers. So we've had marriage and courtship, and now we've got this lovers card, but she has updated it to good outcome, which is great. You know, if this is really, I'm tempted here just to see what Marchetti says. It's what everyone hoped for: the good match, romantic love, profound friendship, loyalty and trust. See, Marchetti, this is another thing. He does this thing that he's done in other decks, like Legacy of the Divine, where he has several people writing on each card, so you get several different perspectives. Friendship, love and faithfulness, indication of love or falling in love. She broadens this to good outcomes. Certainly a relationship is one of the outcomes. This just looks like partying and having fun. A trophy, so symbolizing championship, achievement, victory. And then we've got a bird flying here. So taking off, you know, it really does broaden the potential there. And these kind of cards, as with Lenormand, pardon me, each one of these decks, you know, these systems has layers that you can read on, from, you know, just the bare essence of the meaning of the card to things having to do with timing, descriptive of personalities, stuff like that. All right, now we have a card called His Thoughts. And that, from what I understand, is the traditional name, His Thoughts. Marchetti's deck has changed it just to Thoughts. So I'm going to go here, and we immediately run into the fact that they are arranged in the book by color. Okay. The universe sparkles in my eyes as I think lovingly of you. His thoughts, that's the title, is full of affection and reflection, showing the thought process of those we love. His thoughts does not represent a person in itself, but does show the thoughts of your people cards when one lands close. Okay. Loving thoughts will be seen when good outcome is nearby. If no people are close, His Thoughts is a card of plans and strategies. Now, good outcome, okay, that's considered red as well. A fairy tale ending is in sight. Okay. I know that I've heard too about the thoughts card just really meaning what you're really dwelling on, you know, what's really occupying your mind, which could be an object of your desire, right? Then we have gift. And this can be seen as directional too, the side that it's coming from. This would be coming from above to below. Let's take a look here. Gift. Placement. The source of the gift is shown in the card directly above. This is where the gift originates or is the intention behind it. It often shows what is given. The card positioned below gift is the outcome of the donation. So you see this directionality, and even with His Thoughts, let's take a look there too. There are a lot of red cards, as you could see when I showed the whole thing. His Thoughts shows positive and affectionate attention as long as cards 8, 14, 23, 24, 29, and 30 are not close by. You really need to know the numbers. When behind the main character's back, it can show folly and thoughtless devotion or a tendency to negative self-talk. So she doesn't have a directionality here. But again, I mean, I guess this is one of those things of learn the system, stick to it, and then you'll learn where you can bend those rules, because it's interesting to think of, the things that are on your mind and the direction that he's looking. Child, infant. That's a green card. So this can be an actual child, or it can just mean things that are new, things that are young, things that are unripe, Okay, then we have coffin, which has been updated to fatality. This is directional too, and I'm going to look it up. Okay, this is the yellow or cause and effect cards. So fatality, interestingly, is not what they call a stop card, and I'll look more of that. This is driving me crazy, you guys. My fuzzy, dry air hair today. Sorry, again, I could have sworn I just heard a stink bug. Anyway, fatality. I am finality in its most primitive form. Placement. When close to the main character's fatality will show the greatest finality and even death. If living room is nearby, it will be a sudden and surprising end. Endings are in sight. Position 1. Okay, wait. Positions. This is kind of a Zen-ish way to go through this unboxing, but I'm kind of exploring the way I would explore the deck, truthfully. All right. Not like I'm teaching something I know. Okay, so position 1 is up here. So she gives us this grid of where cards fall in relation to main character. So here's the grid. The main character is in the middle. Let's talk about in the middle. Position 1 is up here. Thoughts. Okay, it represents the thoughts. Position 2 is feelings. Position 3, interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, fuck. Interesting. Oh, and she does show how main character 1 and main character 2, male querent with female partner, female querent with male partner, they facing each other, male querent with male partner. So they've done this so that you can have both the men facing each other, both the women facing each other. Wonderful update. Okay. Each of the main characters has their own grid. And it depends on which way they're facing. So thoughts are always at the top. And hold up. Main character 1 and main character 2. So that doesn't make any sense. Main character 1 is always the person for whom you are reading when male, and so they're showing this one facing to the right, and that position 3 is negative behind his back, and position 4 is positive. But I guess the way it is for the males, 3 is on the left side is unfortunate. Positive is fortunate on the right side, and for the females, the unfortunate is on the right side and the fortunate is on the left side. I can remember that because I remember that the left side is considered feminine, so things on that side for the female are fortunate. Wow. Okay. Yizazabao. Now, so when position 1 represents what or who will grieve most during the fatality, indicates the cause of the fatality. Position 2 down below. So 1 is what or who will grieve the most. above the coffin. Down below indicates the cause. Position 3. Okay. I'm very confused here because that 3 and 4 position changes, and they don't say anything here about when this card falls next to one of the main people. All right. Fatality is the only card in the Kipper deck that provides substantiation in 5 directional cues. So, what's the 5th one? For an example of this layout, see page 110. Read all the words, Luna. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 is like the corner that this coffin is pointing to. That's what I was looking for, the directionality of this card. So it's where the feet are pointing. That indicates, now I got to go back here, what will be affected. Who will grieve? God's sake, this is hard. Who will grieve? Cause of the fatality. Then over here, the situation that will transform, what will be ended or what will die. Why can't they just go around like this and number them that way? Very confusing. Indicates what will be affected. That was a very, very confusing way to try to put that information out. Ouch. Okay, onward. Does it necessarily mean something is absolutely going to die? No, it means something's going to end. House. House is house, not directional. Living room. Same here, and these red stock cards. Then we have military person, which is official person in the traditional Kipper. Then we have courthouse. Here they've just shortened it to court. Legal matters. Makes a lot of sense. Then we have thief here. Again, person focused. Here we have theft, action focused. I just really think that broadens how you can view things. High honor and high honors. So high honor, the traditional deck is like a military thing. You know, is that showing like a 21-gun salute or something like that? Must be. Accolades. And this is showing someone graduating. And that makes a lot more sense to my 21st century mind. Okay. Great fortune. Whee! So here we've got somebody, you know, a statue of gold, and here we've got somebody with the rainbow. It looks like he's like going yippee. It's also a red card. Unexpected income, unexpected money. All right. And that makes a difference because income kind of implies worked for. Money is just money. Then we have expectation. Let's look at how this card. All right, now is this expectation? I show your dreams and deepest desires. Desires and aspirations form the foundation of our wish fulfillment. When expectation is in a spread, we have to question whether we're acting on our desires or simply waiting and hoping that what we wish for will come to us. The card can arise when we're watching, waiting, and patiently passing time, but failing to act on that which we desire. Expectation can show time spent in a bubble and without direction. Dreams and aspirations are wonderful motivators, but if we do not act, we do not achieve. Now, placement. The card to the right will show what we desire. So the card in the direction that he is looking shows what we desire. The card to the left will explain why we have these desires or what has created the longing. Okay. The deepest expectation and aspirations of the main character are being shown, and when laid ahead of the main character, the card suggests that there's a way to reach your desires. When it's behind the main character, your dreams will turn to indifference and dispiritedness. Now, I want to look at the directionality of unexpected money too. So in this book, as you can tell, that I'm reading from sections. There's the description, there's imagery. The hand surprises you with a wad of cash. A karmic and well-deserved bombshell will enter the querent's life. The money signifies all increases and developments that are of a beneficial nature. So it's not necessarily money. The hand signifies the upturn coming from an unknown source and an external offer of help when it is needed. So the placement talks about the directionality. As quickly and unexpectedly as funds can arise in an auspicious position, they can swiftly slip away when behind the main character's back. So talking about it relative to the main character, unexpected money is a card that will witness you frittering your money away as speedily as it arrived in your wallet. Now this, they don't talk about like the direction the money comes from. So not directionality. And I'm assuming that the stop cards themselves, which are the red ones, are just all not directional. Okay, every story must have an end. Kipper stop cards add punctuation to readings and confirm when a story stalls or will add the final piece of the jigsaw. Buildings. So there are buildings. They talk about all the buildings. Look at all the red cards. There's a bunch. All right. Onward. Let's keep looking here. Prison. This is imprisonment. This is prison. So this is kind of like the state of being imprisoned. And this is more about what is imprisoning you. Just indicating that you are in prison and think about what's keeping you imprisoned. Then judication is the name in the traditional, and that talks about consulting with someone making a decision about something. Here it says court official. So they talk about a process where someone else is required, like a professional capacity. You need to go to the courthouse and sign up for blah, blah. You need to go to the welfare office and sign, something that requires someone else's help, I think. Then we have bad health here, and this is short illness. Now, bad health is more not necessarily about specific health, but the health of the situation, and can represent a downturn. Something's taking a bad turn. And there is that vibe of short duration. Despair is changed to sorrow. This is a terrible, terrible card in this deck. It's just like crash and burn. That is definitely a stop card. Gloomy thoughts. Okay, concern. So we have his thoughts and we have gloomy thoughts. So concern is worry. Somebody's just going over things in their mind. So his thoughts. Where was that again? All right, gloomy thoughts. Where was his thoughts? Green, pink. All right, hold up. Rich girl. All right, how did I miss the green ones? Ah. Good lady, good gent, green people. Where's the thoughts? There we go. It's a stop card. So red for his thoughts, affection, reflection, plans and strategies, indecision, procrastination, ruminating about something, whereas gloomy thoughts, I'm full of sadness and quiet desperation. It's all about negativity and pessimistic thought. So not just internal, something you're really focused on, it's bad. Today will be sad. That's in daily advice. All right. All right, lots of directionality things there. Let's just keep going. Then we have occupation, which has changed to work. Again, just updating language to the short and sweet. Pathway here is long way. So that is a card that indicates a long period of time, whereas, the short illness one is a short period of time. Pathway means that there's a long road to hoe. And then distant horizons is changed to hope, great water. I'm interested in that. Okay. Hope, great water is the symbol of a perfect ending. It is the goal that we wish to achieve, a sign of attainment. Now, I thought that great fortune. Okay, so great fortune is a sign that the hand of fate is taking charge and showering everything we do with glitter. You can expect everything to run effortlessly. So that's how things are going. Whereas hope, great water is the ending, a destination. Recognition, person. There was another one there. Good outcome. Okay. Fairy tale ending is in sight. So now what's the difference between good outcome and hope, great water? Our material ambitions will be reached. We will experience fulfillment on every level when this card is present. Hope, great water is the end of the long way. This is the place where the Kipper story comes to a perfect ending with fireworks and a sense of satisfaction that we've made it. The game of life's been won. Whatever comes afterward is merely a cherry on the top. The ocean calls to us. Seagulls gliding above highlight our happy ever after. Our dreams are waiting on the horizon. So, hope will turn to joy, happiness, and blessings in great abundance if great fortune lies nearby. Good outcome always shines a positive light on a reading no matter where it sits. It is, however, fortuitous. It's good to have it as close as possible to the main character. Wow. Interesting that this deck has two. And you notice here that we have three additional ones in Marchetti's deck. We have poverty, toil and labor, and community. Those seem like cards that make a lot of sense. All right. Let's take more of a look. This is a long video. I make no apologies. Let's look again at the categories. So the green cards are people. The Kipper people cards perform a variety of duties in a spread. They can highlight the lives of famous family members, friends, colleagues, and neighbors, while simultaneously covering situations in which we feel supported, tricked, or just playful. Each Kipper person, with the exception of the main characters, brings their aura into the spread, which is built on their core character. The reader must determine whether the card represents a person in the querent's life or an aura in a situation. Yeah, okay. Now we have the reds, which are stop cards. It will describe a situation that's not moving anywhere fast if you have a lot of them, where we feel stuck, forewarning of stale situations, can encourage us to act. Within the stop cards, we have buildings around where the querent can navigate their surroundings. Each has its own atmosphere as well as a brick-and-mortar location. These buildings range from the small chamber of the living room to the large sprawling communities of prison where they depict an atmosphere. We can experience anything from provoked internal emotions to uncompromising blockages. So there's living room, there's house, there's court, and there's prison. Then, and the red cards, well, you saw what all the red cards were. The blue represent movement. There's only 4 of those. So the only one we didn't look at directionality with was the long way. And this says, ooh, how did that get dirty? The placement shown, the movement shown within long way suggests that it will take a long time to achieve something. The card falling below represents the starting point. The card to the right, where the querent will be once the long way has been completed. Long way to the right. Long way will always mean a great distance or a substantial amount of time. When ahead of the main character, there's an appreciation of time well spent, but when behind their back, everything will take too much energy and way too much time. So interesting that it's the starting point and that where you will be at the end is over to the right and not above. Very interesting. Okay. Pink are connectors. And the connectors are, okay, they highlight connections between situations or between cards to help explain a situation more fully. Connector cards pull the flanking cards into a storyline. When all 4 connector cards fall in a row, the situation is a very complex one. Follow the connectors and discover whether this is a good connection turned bad or a negative bond that will work out in the end. And those are marriage, convene, court official, I will hold your hand, but you will still have to walk alone, and short illness. Wow. All right. And then yellow are cause and effect, dishonesty, sad news, fatality. So sad news, cause of the sad news is to the left. The card to the right is what is affected with the situation. We looked at fatality. Dishonesty, when close to the main characters means misfortune and danger. Farther away means loss. So that's a closer or farther, not a left or right one. Theft. Look to the card on the left of theft to see exactly what is being stolen. The card to the right will determine how it affects you. Expectation. Card to the right will show what we desire. The card to the left will explain why. And then gloomy thoughts. Did we look at this? Oh, this is the gloomy thoughts, not his thoughts. Card to the left, what is being affected because, okay. Look to the card at the right of gloomy thoughts to find out why we're having morbid contemplations. The card to the left shows what's being affected. So again, it's directional. Just behind is the foundation, and this is what's being directly affected. All right. Setting intention. Let's do that because now comes the test drive part. And I really have not worked with the Kippers. I do watch Denise on Spiritual Growth Tarot. She works a lot with Kipper, and she has worked with Lenormand before, but she works much more with Kipper now, and she's fascinating to watch. So thank you, Denise. Shout out, and please subscribe to her channel, but thank you for the instruction that I've received so far. All right. Before we do this, waiting for that to heat up, let's thank our guides and guardians, allies and ancestors for always being here to support us. Please help me open my mind to this wonderful system and the intention of the author and the artist to get a good test drive out of this and some good information and good examples for people that might be interested. So I offer you this fresh water. These don't want to spread really easily, which is a shame because with these kind of decks, I usually do a spread and pull. Maybe we just need to play with them a little bit, huh? They need to loosen up. And I offer you as well this fire of Azrael. I set my intention to get the true vibration of divination from this deck and set a relationship with it that can open my mind and clarify my thoughts. Let me throw a piece of sage on there just to add to the clearing of this deck and bless it with some ocean water. Let me in, please. Okay. Let's see how they shuffle. It's only 36 cards, but they're thick. Oof. If it was any more than 36, they would not shuffle, I can tell you that much. I'm going to give them 7 for the max shufflement. 2. Oops. Let's see if I can get them loosened up a little bit. 3. 4. 5. I'm already seeing some of the silver coming off. Oops. 2 more. My hands aren't working so well. And I see the colors going by, kind of reflected in the silver. It's interesting. Okay, so let's look at what they suggest as a start. Okay, reading Rainbow Kipper. Setting the right framework for a Kipper read is essential to providing a succinct and factual answer. Unlike tarot, wherein each card lies, wherein each card, grammar's interesting, lies a universe of knowledge, the Kipper cards show a specific situation in daily life. Kipper is perfect for understanding situations and appreciating the undercurrent of day-to-day circumstances. To practice intention on a daily basis, it's wise to begin small and consider the nuances of your own daily life. Consider your cards in different themes and diverse occasions. For example, you might pull a card to determine your theme of the day, or one to ask what the most striking situation of your day will be. We're going to go beyond that, sorry. Daily relationship read, gift, understanding, fortune. Ooh, daily spread with fortune, behind and ahead. So you pick out the main character. All right, I already know what I'm going to do here. Situational spread. In the situational spread, we can discover exactly what the querent is thinking, feeling, and experiencing at the current moment. All situations have their good and bad components, and these placements will highlight them. Thoughts, feelings, unfortunate, and fortunate. Example, thoughts, fatality. All right, I think we're going to read on a certain Russian. And the what it is spread. Placement spreads allow the reader to answer questions when the querent is not entirely sure what they want to ask. Without asking a specific question, we can understand the current situation with ease. Ooh, I kind of like that. Position 1 is what it is, represents the situation. Represents. Position 2, what it isn't, it narrows it down. Position 3 is now, how the situation is developing. And position 4 is the outcome, what will happen in the future. We're going to go with that one, the what it is spread. But I am definitely looking at Vladimir Putin. And I should have taken the main character cards out, because I don't actually want them coming up in this spread. There's that one, and where's the last one there? Khal Drogo. All right. So I would like them to shuffling in the question, then I'm going to spread and pull. The mind of Vladimir Putin from his standpoint, and I claim access to this information as on behalf of the Ukrainians, on behalf of the Russian people who are not at all behind this invasion. I claim it as a member of this planet, all of which is being affected by this rash and criminal action. All right, well, there's our first one, and I'm going to spread and take the other 3. Actually, I'm just going to cut. All right. So the first one, we're looking at from Vladimir Putin's mind, what the situation is. House is what comes up first. So to me, a house is a building. It is where we live. It is our protection. Let's just go and read. I am stable and resilient and form the foundation of success. Fortune is foreseen in all undertakings when house is near the main character. It presents a sense of being grounded at home in your environment. House encompasses the streets, buildings, and people of the town in which we grew up. The feeling you experience when walking in familiar territory or your homeland. The house card in the Kipper deck is the residence in which you live, the town, the neighborhood, or just people around us who make our life a stable one. It's the point on earth around which we gravitate. Well, directly there, he's gravitating to Ukraine. Buildings, houses are main residence, signifying the external four walls of a building. Do not confuse this with living room, which shows the internal space. House can show a company for which you work, an apartment building, or a family-owned business. All right. So it's talking about fall in a grand tableau if it's near the main character. Daily advice: you'll spend most of the day within the four walls of your house or office. So positive meanings: house, residence, stability, structure, permanency. Negative meanings: uncertainty, instability, subsidence, or unpredictability. So we have house, and the thing with these, with Kipper and Lenormand, is the cards all affect each other. Kipper is more they lead to each other. Lenormand is more they modify each other, from my understanding. So house here, we can look at several different things. From the mind of Vladimir Putin, the situation he's in here, he wants Ukraine to be part of his homeland. He wants it as part of Russia. He is looking to, it's all about his house. So the situation is all about what he owns, what belongs to him as his home. Okay, what it isn't narrows down the situation. And we have short illness there. Okay, hold up. I am unhealthy and will lower your reserve. This, the most negative of the connector cards, brings unhealthy situations to a reading and drags the neighboring cards into a detrimental state. Disease and decay can infiltrate daily life, from a slight head cold to a real Mercury retrograde nightmare. We all suffer from time to time, and the short illness card depicts all forms of human discomfort. The cards on its left and right will confirm what is deteriorating at the present. I am having such a deja vu right now, like a dream that I had. Whew. And the reader can advise from these which life area will suffer most. Okay. Cards on left and right. So even though we're looking at this very short, succinct category type reading, we still have to look at the directionality of the cards. We'll confirm what's deteriorating at present. Okay. Both ahead and behind the card, short illness has a negative core meaning. So there's a negative. What it's not is a short illness. Oh, shit. So what the situation is not is something that will pass quickly. Positive meanings: none, only that it will pass quickly. Negative meanings: illness, disease, unhealthy discomfort. Okay, hold up. This is talking, I'm too much in my own head. With these cards, you really have to be willing to stretch your brain and forge some new synapses, make new connections, because look at the mind of Vladimir Putin. I'm saying about this situation, but look what's on his mind. House. He is within four walls. He's looking, it's talking about what it is. People were talking, I was hearing about him being in a bunker, somebody psychic was saying they feel like he might be under house arrest. So there's house, what it is, being confined, being, within four walls. What it is not is something that's short-lived. Okay. There's suffering. Um, what is deteriorating? Okay, this sense of home. And then we've got, holy shit, man. Now, this is now, and we have dishonesty. How the situation is developing? Well, through propaganda. Through propaganda. No matter where it falls, it holds a warning. Misfortune and danger. Loss, hypocrisy, betrayal, or fear. There are no positive meanings. Warning, dishonesty, wrongness, fraud, deceit. Yes, how is this whole thing going forward? How is Putin himself moving forward from this narcissistic, malignant narcissist mindset of dishonesty and delusion, even delusion? Because we can be dishonest with ourselves as well, right? So, dishonest about this short illness. There's a lot of delusion around this is going to be a short, that this war would be a short thing. A quick, in and out. We'll have this done in, what was he saying, 3 days he thought it would take? Holy shit, you guys. Okay, and then the last card, what will happen in the future? Outcome. And it says change, and it's headed in this direction towards dishonesty. It's like I want to take more. I'm gonna do something here because I think we have a valid reading. I'm gonna fill out one more card here and 5 down here because this is all right. One more here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so they go down like this. Court. Oof. Let me straighten these up. You know how it bugs me. All right. And you can see too, if you are familiar at all with Lenormand, there are the cards are much more symbolic in a Lenormand deck. You know, we've got the stork and the bear and the fox and the ring and you know, cards like that where there are images that stand for something. It's not a literal bear. Kipper is much more literal and just much clearer in what it's talking about. Okay, so I also drew sorrow, and now I'm going up, you know, seat of my pants here. Dishonesty, his thoughts. We've got delusional thinking going on here. So what's he ruminating on? He is ruminating on how he can spin this lie to the Russian people to try to get them back on his side. He grossly misstepped in an effort to just, you know, shore up his image before the next election comes up. Ouch. So in the center, we kind of have the core, dishonesty and his thoughts. Then at the corners, we can really look at, I'm pushing this in. You see that it's jumping back because I have this nappy anyway, house and court. Let's look up court. Another building. Court. Justice is served instantly with the court card. Every day we deal with a number of decisions we must serve justice on. As an example, should we buy the latest smartphone release? Blah, blah. Lots of pros and cons. Let's see, positive meanings: justice, decisions, formalities. Negative, prejudice, bias, legal proceedings, lawsuit. Well, look at, we've got short illness up here and we've got fatality here. So I would say, and if we do the knighting process that you learn with Lenormand, here's dishonesty and court. So, gosh, who could the court be? The Hague, maybe? So let's look at this as maybe Putin, and this is maybe the rest of the world here. Or let's just see how it unfolds. The thing with these decks that I'm learning is that you really have to got to give them their head. You can't keep them on a tight rein, um, and be willing to follow what is being told to you, whether it's what you expected to find or not. I mean, that goes for all reading, right? Court. So, legalities, decisions. Um, all right. But then we've got fatality here. We've got this short illness fatality. So, what would be expected to be a short illness and something that is a downturn that is swiftly going away with fatality underneath it, I don't think that's the truth. I think there's going to be a permanent ending here. And it could say that there's a swift downturn that swiftly ends, something swiftly ends. And I mean, that's what this says, is something comes to a swift ending. It won't last for long. But with fatality, it's definitely not a good ending. Let's put it that way. It's not a good ending. All right. And look we've got a knight here, change and fatality. The car is heading like in the exact direction that the fatality, the coffin is lined up with. So he's headed for a very bad end. And also down here, his thoughts, as things change, they're taking him more into his own head. And where do we end up with sorrow? And we could even see here that sorrow, whatever his trauma is, we all have it, is the impetus behind the changes that are happening. And what gets changed? His dishonesty. I mean, this could be that the sorrow that's happening right now, the horrors that he's visited on the Ukrainian people, the grief that they are experiencing, is going to bring about some change. And that change unmasks dishonesty or brings about more dishonesty. That's what it's being met with. Certainly a lot of rumination. What's he ruminating on? Oh, fuck, I'm going to die. They're coming for me. Okay. Then down here we have expectation. So he's ruminating, looking this way, but the look at this. Expectation and hope, gray water. He's still thinking. He's still so deluded. If we just look at this in context of the question that I asked, which was Putin's mind, inside his mind, what's going on? What is he seeing this as? But sorrow is above hope, great water. So you can look at things above as weighing down on what's below. When you're a dictator, you always expect things to go your way, right? But look at dishonesty here. He's not being honest with himself. If I'm honest with myself, no, you're not honest with yourself. Night's over. So we have this court, dishonesty, and hope, great water. So we can look at court here as being the Hague. If we want to look at this line as maybe the rest of the world, we could. House, court. This does kind of really look at maybe he is under some kind of house arrest, or he is being contained. There's a decision to contain him. Court, decisions, dishonesty, hope, great water. Well, I think the dishonesty here, we can be saying that he's completely deluded and not seeing clearly about how he's going to be judged and how things are going to turn out. Because hope, great water is behind his back. Let me take a look here. These are fun. Ooh. Okay, negative meanings of hope, great water. All right, so this is another thing. In Lenormand, there's a ship card. In this one, it's a train or a bus in this deck showing the journey. But in Lenormand, the ship card can show travel, a ship going overseas, going long distance, but it can also show generally just escape. Get me out of here. Take me far, far away, you know? So I went to Hope Greatwater to see what the negative meanings might be. Hope streams illusions overseas. So it is illusion as well, dishonesty. And here we do have delusion, but the negative meaning, which it would have coming under sorrow, is addiction, dependency, self-prescribing, self-medicating. So this is saying he's still, I want to look at the negative of expectation. Negative is long wait, apathetic, boredom, laziness. Okay. Wait. Prospects, patience, anticipation. Yeah, he's having to wait. So it is. This means things you have to wait for is expectation. So he's ruminating. When's this going to be over? When am I going to have my kill shot here? But he's having to wait. He's having to wait. What's he doing in the meantime? He's self-medicating, drinking lots of vodka. And there have been there's been lots of discussion over people that have been around him or seen him over the years that he's got the puffy face of either steroids or illness or alcoholism or something, but he's got that puffy look to him. Wow. All right. I think I'm going to let this be. I think we have plenty. And okay, so do you remember what they were talking about with the colors? Let's go back to the whole framing of the creation of this deck. Oh my God, I can't believe this has been over an hour. Yow! Saying that, when there's a lot of red, things are moving slowly. Wow. Yeah. So with many red cards are clustered together, it will describe a situation that is not moving anywhere fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fully half of the cards are stop cards. And look at how nice and symmetrical. So we have a stop card. We have a connector card. House and dishonesty are connected by this short illness. So is the short illness just like his delusional mindset? He had a fucking psychotic break. And let's invade Ukraine. We have these 3 bing, bing, bing of the, what are these called? Cause and effect cards, fatality, dishonesty, expectation, and only 1 card of change. Fascinating. And no people cards. So what does that tell you? He's completely in his own head. There's not a lot changing. Any change is leading him further into his own head and his own delusions. He's probably drinking a lot, self-medicating. He's confined, and he's very concerned about how he's going to be judged, and there's a lot of sorrow. This man is not having a good time. Wow. Okay, viewers, if you stuck with me this long, you are my superstar. You are my hero. Tell me what you thought. And of course, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I doubt you would have made it this far. But if you have, please subscribe, please like, please share, and all that kind of happy crappy. But please, more than anything, comment. What did you think of this reading? I am fascinated, and I am now going to be using these cards a whole bunch. So look forward to seeing them in a live stream on Wednesday night, and I look forward to seeing you on a live stream Wednesday night. Please join us at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I hope to see you there. Until then, this is the Zen Witch. Blessed be.